team in history and have built some absolutely gorgeous cars. Their first driver's title was won in 1952 by Alberto Ascari. Considered one of F1's most dominant and best-loved champions, he drove the iconic Ferrari 500 and defended his title the year after. It was Juan Manuel Fangio in his Ferrari 250 who secured the team's next driver's title in 1956. Remember, he was world champion 5 times with 4 different teams. Mike Hawthorne, Phil Hill and John Surtees also won titles for Ferrari in the 50s and 60s, and the cars back then were beautiful, and they even sounded great, didn't they? Anyway, Ferrari went 11 years without winning a title until Niki Lauda won in 1975 in the iconic 312T. Throughout much of the 80s and 90s, though, Ferrari looked like they'd never go all the way again. Le Professeur Alain Prost came pretty close in 1990, but lost out to his bitter rival and former teammate at McLaren, Ayrton Senna. It was only when John Todt recruited a swathe of staff from outside of Italy, including Michael Schumacher, that the glory days returned 21 years after their last driver's title. The turn of the century saw the prancing horse sprint to an unprecedented 5 consecutive championship doubles. And after Schumacher left, Kimi Raikkonen reclaimed the driver's title immediately. But despite employing 1,500 people, the Iceman remains the last Ferrari world champion. So, 16 constructors' titles, 7 more than McLaren, and 15 drivers' titles, 4 more than, again, McLaren. Ferrari are truly Formula One's top.
Welcome to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. I'm Jamie O'Hara. I'm over there, Jason Cundy.
Has anyone seen Rhino, the producer? What is it? Oh, can't come in. I've got a sniffy nose.
A bit like you. International break. We're having a bit of fun tonight. We're going to start the show. Andy Lound is coming in. He's an expert in everything in space and the Titanic. So he's going to be coming in 10 minutes' time. Get your calls in. You want to have your say on space? Any questions on the Loch Ness Monster, the Titanic? 03 717 22 33 talking of Titanics, we're going to talk Arsenal as well. Maybe they're looking a bit. I don't know what's going on. Injuries left, right, and centre. Gabriel is out of the North London derby. We're going to build up to that as well in the show. What excuses are you going to come up for if they lose that one? We can't do the show without you though. Loads to talk about. 03 717 22 33 How are you?
I'm all right, bud.
You all right? You feeling better?
Yes, I am. Thanks. I'm our producer, mate.
Producer's ill now. You're making the whole team ill.
He's not well.
You're making the team ill.
No, it's nothing to do with that, mate.
He's nothing to do with that.
He's got the snivels.
Yeah, where's he got that from?
I don't know, mate. Was that Portugal, mate, wasn't he?
I was with him.
I know, but you lot, you have late nights drinking alcohol.
We was not drinking and late nights, you. Calm yourself down. We were filming. You've made him ill.
I've not made him ill, mate. I've not been with him. It's not my... Anyway, Rhino said he's going to tune in because he cannot wait for Loundy to come in.
Yeah, Andy Lound, our space expert's coming in about 10 minutes. We're going to talk to him about space because you love talking garbage.
Space is amazing. Space is. Come on, you must have that, like, what's up there? What's going on up there?
I don't really think about it, mate, to be honest. I've got enough on my plate to start worrying about what's out there.
No, but there must be a point you go, my God, it's so big, it's incomprehensible. You can't. So if you kept travelling for 1 million years, you'd keep travelling. You wouldn't stop.
Yeah, right, brilliant.
Another 2 million years, keep travelling.
I know, but
what's out there?
Yeah, amazing.
No, don't be like that.
No, I know, but it's just
don't be
what do you want me
flippant.
to say? I've got it's out there.
What if there's enough? What if they're about, let's say, 100 million light years away? There's another Jamie O'Hara. Wouldn't you like to meet him?
No, I don't know if I would. Don't think I'd like him.
I know you wouldn't.
Hopefully he's slimmer.
If you travel back in time, you might meet him like 20 years earlier than you are now. Think of that. What advice? Here we go. This is a great question,
here we
right?
go. All right, brilliant.
So you go back to Jamie O'Hara and his pomp.
Yeah. So
right?
I meet him, and he's 20 years younger than me.
No, he's 30 years younger. So how old are you now? You're 30. Well, you're 42 now.
No, I'm 39.
Okay, you're 39. So imagine going back.
20 years. He's
so,
90.
Going back 19-year-old O'Hara 20 years ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of things
right?
I'd say to him.
So I'm
No, I don't know if I can say.
I'm the 19-year-old Jamie
I don't know
O'Hara.
yeah.
Right, I walk up, go, all right, Dad.
Yeah. All right, Dad.
What are you going to say to me?
There's a few things I'd say.
Yeah, go on. What? I mean, you look all right.
Yeah. I would say, stay out of Essex. Don't get married. Hide some money, and
Don't work with Cundy.
Don't work with Cundy, whatever you do.
That's good advice. See, all of a sudden now, you wouldn't be sat here.
Yeah, I know, but I like where I'm at. I like being here.
No, you'd be on a beach, mate.
Actually said that, I don't know, yeah.
You have a couple of Porsches in the garage.
My mistakes have led me to here. You know, working with you.
Why'd you make me feel bad now?
Well, it's right though, isn't it? You know, if I didn't make these mistakes, right, I wouldn't be here, would I? If I would, you know, thought wisely about my future, I'd be on a beach right now.
No, people make mistakes, Jay.
Yeah, of
right?
course we do.
So, you know, learn from other people's mistakes. You know, don't learn from your own, but you could learn from your own if you went back in
But don't
time.
you think everything happens for a reason?
Of course it does,
Like
Jay.
everything happens.
Jay, of
what's
course
happened,
it does. Yeah,
in
embrace
terms of
it.
good and bad, has led me to being here, which is kind of it's kind of fun.
It is fun.
You know, I'd rather be on the beach, you know, with loads of dough.
Okay, so here's the
sitting
choice.
there chilling, thinking, oh, them 50 games for England that I got, and you know, the Club World Cup that I won with Spurs, you know. And
Okay, so let me ask you now.
So things could have been different.
You've got a choice now. Either you jump in that rocket
Yeah.
that goes back to meet the old younger Jamie O'Hara.
Yeah.
Or you don't jump in it. Are you jumping in it?
No, I'm jumping straight in it, mate. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gone.
That's the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Straight back to 19.
There you go.
Delete 20 years.
Deleting 20 years
At least
and
10.
reliving them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be great to know, though, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be great if you had a crystal
But
ball?
that's the whole point of knowledge, isn't it? Knowledge is
No,
power.
when you get older and you sit there and you go,
No.
should have listened to me, Dad.
Youth is wasted on the young. That's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now look at you. Now you're a sensible...
Yeah. Sensible young man.
Sensible old...
Yeah.
Middle-aged
Middle-aged.
thing. Anyway, we'll speak to Loundy about it.
Yeah, we've got Loundy coming up. So are we obviously just going to get stuck straight into him about space?
Well,
Talk
look,
more about football?
I'm absolutely fascinated, and I think most people are. When you actually...
You are, but not everyone else is.
No, but
You
I think everyone has a curiosity about what is above us. The fact that we don't spend too much time thinking about it because we can't see it really. We can't, can we? Every day you wake up, right? You see the sky, that's it.
Brilliant.
No one thinks about what's above it that often until it's kind of forced to point. Like this, then the sun sets, the moon comes out, and you look up and you go, God, there's a moon, and you think of all those stars, right? Some of those stars are thousands of million light years away. Why you got your head in your hand? Why you got another hour?
I know.
Yeah.
I know, but
Kind of feel like I'm Ryan. I wish I was Ryan right
but
now.
the thing that I can't get my head around, which always amazes me, is that some of those stars, the light that we are seeing,
Yeah.
they could be so far away from Earth that when that light was transmitted from that star, dinosaurs could have been on the planet.
Okay.
That's the bit I can't get my head. It's just insane. Anyway, speak to Loundy.
We're going to speak to Loundy. Do you want to talk a bit of football?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Look, we're going to talk. I think we're going to talk Arsenal at 11 because they've got injuries, right? And I think it's only right you mention it. Gabriel, it's been a huge talking point. 2 months he's out for.
Yeah.
North London derby coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Arsenal are starting to panic a little?
No,
bit?
because their squad now should be able to deal with that. Mosquera has shown that he can step in. There This is a squad that has been designed right now to suffer those defeats, to suffer those injuries and deal with them. Remember when Saliba was injured, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then Rob Holding come in, and that performance and result away at Liverpool that time, everyone's blaming Rob Holding. Well, that was the backup. Now I believe that they think that the backup is enough, and no one's going to feel sorry for Arsenal over the fact they've got one injury or two or three. Every club has injuries. Every club has to suffer and work out a way, and that's why the best team. Everyone used to say the best team wins the Premier League. More often than not, it's true, but really the truth is the best squad wins the Premier League.
Don't you think, though, there are injuries at the moment is getting a little bit outrageous?
Yeah.
You know, like every club. I mean, Spurs have got a whole team out.
I know, but
a good team as well. And it's like, I know we sit here and we say, oh, you know, everyone gets injuries. I remember when we played, Jason. I mean, look, me and you did pick up a lot of injuries. But I don't ever remember sitting in a treatment room seeing 11 other players in there.
No, and it's the workload and the pace of the game, but the squads are bigger now. They have to deal with that. And listen, you need a bit of good fortune. Soft tissue injury, look, contact injuries, they are unavoidable, but it's the soft tissue, it's the overwork, the red zone you often hear about now, the red zone, right? About how you manage players' minutes, even during pre-season now. They are managed during pre-season to ensure the workload is not too much. But it's impossible. How do you rest players now? Where's the rest?
Well, there isn't a rest. That's the concern.
So Chelsea have got. See, as you say, we had no pre-season. What Chelsea went through this season?
Yeah.
Chelsea, the first side ever in Premier League history, never had a pre-season because of what we did in the Club World Cup. I don't want sympathy. I'm not after it, right?
But you've got loads of injuries.
But I'm not going to sit here and start.
I'm not saying about making excuses.
No, but
because
it's up to you.
It is a little bit of a. I think it's a massive worry for the football world that these players now.
I agree with you.
People spend a lot of money to go and watch the best players play every week.
I agree with you.
And half the team's out every international breaks. Everyone's picking up injuries. You come back and you got half a squad, and you're going. Where's it stop? What is actually going on here? Because
it's not. No, it's not going to stop. It's going to get worse.
I know, but
it is getting worse.
How do you change that? How do you stop that? Because it is getting a bit of a farce.
Yeah, but Jay,
players playing 70, 80 games a season.
Here's the thing, and Simon Jordan is very hot on this, and he's got no sympathy with footballers. And somewhere in between what he says and what I'm about to say is probably the truth, is the fact that players demand more money. Players are now they are on hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. With commercials and all sorts. They're probably close to £1 million, some players a week, right? That money's got to come from somewhere. And the way you've got to generate money is by them playing football. There's sponsorships. That's why no one has ever sat in a room at any point in the last 10 years, other than the last 3 years, and said, we need a Club World Cup. No football fan ever said, do you know what I could do with in the summer? There's no European football, there's no World Cup. I'd love a Club World Cup. No one ever said that. And it's the workload on these players. Chelsea went through, when we won it, went to the final. We had 2 pre-season games, one on the Friday, one on the Sunday, before the Premier League season started on the Friday again. Mm-hmm. Where's that going? That's where we're at. That is exactly where we're at. But players are on now 3, 4, and the players are walking. You got Mo Salah, and I'm not picking on Liverpool, but every club has got these players go in and say, well,
Mo Salah don't get injured very often.
No, fine. But the point I'm trying to make is that the players will demand more money, and every time you've got a player like Isak moving, right?
He's injured.
Yeah, but I'm saying the money. No, I'm trying to come up with the players' ranges, right?
I know, yeah.
Okay, but the point I'm trying to
Why
make
did
is
you go
still
to
bad.
Liverpool?
Yeah, Cole Palmer, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, injured. Yeah.
Gabriel, right?
Yeah,
Gabriel walks in.
Injured.
Right?
He's injured. Yeah.
Help me out, mate.
Yeah. Who else are you thinking? Anyone else out there? James Maddison.
Good example. James Maddison
injured.
walks in. Liam Delap walks in and
injured.
says...
Everyone's injured, mate. It's a joke. It's like all the best players in the league are getting injured. It's ridiculous. Spurs have got 3 of our best players are out injured.
Who's that?
Kudus.
Kudus walks in, right, and sits down and says, "Look, I'm looking
injured." Yeah, Kulusevski.
Look, I'm doing good bits.
Injured. Solanke
goes in, right. So look, I'm doing all right. I need a new contract.
Injured. It's a joke. Where's it stop? I've never known anything like it. I was trying to think about it today when the Gabriel one comes up and you look at all the injuries. And I remember, I picked up injuries. I did, but my body wasn't made to be a Premier League footballer, as you can see. But I remember sitting in the treatment room. Wolves, Fulham, Portsmouth, Spurs. I sit there and think there may be 3 or 4 beds in there, and some days it might be full. 11 beds they need now. You're talking about they need a hotel to have injured players in.
Good team there, mate.
Come on, it's getting outrageous. I just don't know if it's where we go.
I know, but no one
says anything.
I know, but do you know why? Because you and I sit here and we're lucky because every Monday, next Monday we'll have football, next Tuesday we'll have football, Wednesday, Thursday we'll have football, and then it comes round again, and then you got Monday night football, you got Saturday, you got games. It comes thick and fast, and us as consumers and fans, whether we go to the grounds or we're paying via our subscription to Sky and TNT and all that sort, we are part of the problem because we crave it. And the more we crave it, the more money there is, and the more the players demand, and the more players will get, the more agents get, the more the clubs have then got to put ticket prices up because honestly, you ain't stopping. I don't see it stopping. 10 years ago, if I'd said to you that we are where we are now, you would never have believed me.
No.
When you and I played, right? Okay, but let's go back to when I played, right? I think the highest paid player in the league was 20 grand a week.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely weren't you.
Right? Definitely wasn't me, right? But 20 grand a week.
Yeah.
When like in the early 90s, 20 grand a week, it's a huge wage now, right? Now these players are on $250,000, 3, 4, 5, 600,000 pounds. Where's the money's got to come from somewhere, and we need more football to feed that. It's a.
I just feel like I just don't know if there's any protection for players anymore.
Well, you're getting paid for that. You're getting paid for it. That's the argument, isn't it? You're getting paid. Perform monkeys. Go out. We're paying you enough money. Go and perform. But even performing monkeys get injured.
No, but NFL players in America, I mean, they play for about 3 months. They get paid $100 million. But they play like 16 games.
Should have been born in America, mate.
Yeah, I know, they're a stinker, aren't we? Yeah. NBA play. They play a lot of games, to be fair, but the season is 4 months, maybe 5 months, max.
How do they get away with that, by the way? How are they getting away with that? No, it's a serious question. How are they getting away with that? Someone in America.
It goes quite long. They play a lot of games, to be fair. NBA.
Yeah, okay, a lot of games.
NFL is ridiculous.
Right, so
NFL is ridiculous. They play like 16 games.
No, they don't.
I'm telling you.
Someone's having it on their toes out there.
They play
they
once
are.
a
Imagine
week.
trying to get away with the 16 games in the Premier League. Imagine that.
It's happening,
no, it's not happening. That's
18 rounds they play NFL. 18 rounds. 18 rounds.
Right. So someone somewhere over there is having it on their toes.
Yeah. Oh, you can have your say on that. You talk about injuries. Talk about the North London derby. We build up to it, but we have got Loundy coming in, our favourite. He normally comes in for pre-recs. We've got him in the studio, special guest. Ask anything you want. He knows that. He knows a lot.
He knows about space. He knows about Loch Ness. He knows about the Titanic.
Yeah.
Anything you want to ask about that, Loundy.
All right, 03717 22 3344.
The culprit that time, Jason Cundy.
You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy still to come. We're going to discuss Arsenal after Gabriel picked up an injury in international duty. Is the beginning of the end for the Gunners and their title hopes. I did not write that. That has nothing to do with me. But first, talkSPORT is bringing you Mythbusters tonight, live.
There's an old tale of a man who knew absolutely everything.
Hi, good morning.
First, he solved space's biggest mysteries.
If you're free floating in your space station and you fart, then you would be propelled forward slightly.
Then, we found out he was a Titanic expert.
Higher tides, more violent perhaps weather patterns that were happening on the Earth as well.
And in a spectacular turn of events, we found this man. And it was then revealed he also knows it all about the Loch Ness Monster.
We can actually see something which is quite a remarkable sight indeed.
And every international break, he's with us on the Sports Bar to solve your mysteries.
Is Cundy talking rubbish?
Actually, no.
It's Andy Loud, Mythbuster.
Yeah, joining us in the studio now, Andy Lound, an expert on everything. Evening, Loundy.
Loundy.
How's it going, guys? Good?
Yeah, you've come as an astronaut, as you always do.
As you requested. Yep, nicely done. Nicely done here. I love this.
Beautifully done.
I bought the light one. I do have a full kit as well, which with helmet and everything.
We got the hat and everything.
Didn't you bring your helmet?
No, that's the full kit. That's a hard one to bring on the train. Well, next time, if you want it.
Bring your helmet.
Yeah, we'll need a bit more space, but yeah.
Was it a big helmet?
Oh, it's a big helmet. I've got a big helmet.
Have you?
No,
okay,
a big one, yeah.
Okay, listen, I'd love to see it next time.
Okay, brilliant. Right, where do we start here? Because in the break, you've already said that this sums Cundy up with how excited he is about space. That he said, I've got a question that I was thinking about on the way in. So you've been thinking about this all day.
Right, okay, so the question is, right, so the weather has changed quite dramatically, I think, in the last week. It's gone from like wearing sunglasses, going out with a light jacket. Now, I've got to leave with a long coat. The temperature dropped dramatically, right?
Yeah.
Does Earth's weather have any effect on space at all?
Not that way round. It's the other way around. Space does have an effect on Earth's weather.
Go on.
What we're seeing at the moment is in a couple of weeks ago, the largest burst of solar energy for a long time towards the Earth occurred. And this is where you had this, they called it a butterfly-shaped hole. They called it a butterfly-shaped hole on the surface of the sun. It's not actually a hole. It was just the appearance. It was a cooler material, so it looked darker than anything else. But out of this came a huge blast of solar radiation that travelled through space, collided with Earth's atmosphere and caused atmospheric changes. We had northern light effects right across the planet. So we get that. Also, the oceans absorb a lot of heat from the sun. So when the sun is going through its bigger cycle, which is an 11-year cycle, the oceans absorb this heat and slowly re-release this heat into the atmosphere, and that drives the weather patterns differently. And people have talked about global warming and said, well, it's not man-made. Man is contributing to it because of the release of gases we put into the atmosphere. Greenhouse gases trap the heat into the planet, and they could say, oh, we don't know that for true. We do, because we look at the planet Venus, carbon dioxide atmosphere, its surface temperature 475 degrees, the hottest planet in the solar system, and that's not closest to the sun, and that's simply because of its carbon dioxide atmosphere. So we're seeing that solar radiation affects the atmosphere, heating within the planet itself changes it, and that's why we're seeing these great swings on the planet.
Okay, we've actually got a few calls for you, Loundy. Yeah, people love it. So yeah. I'm going to go straight to Richard. He's a Norwich fan. All right, Rich?
All right, Rich. Dickie?
Hello?
All right, Rich?
How you doing?
I'm all right, Rich, you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, I just want to ask him...
Him?
Hold on.
Him?
It's me.
Loundy. Loundy.
Yeah.
Dickie, his name's Loundy.
Oh.
Go on.
Turn your radio off.
Turn your radio off.
Yeah, I just want to ask the guy, obviously we're talking about landing on Mars in the future. Is it going to happen? And if so, are we going to go on another planet further afield?
That's a good question. Yes, we will be landing on Mars. We'll probably land on Mars, I would suggest, with humans slightly after 2030 sometime. Certainly Elon Musk is pushing for it very, very aggressively at the moment. And once he's got his Starship operating fully, that's going to happen because he can do it. Will we go further afield? That's a really good question you've raised there, because one of the purposes of going to Mars, setting up a Mars base, we set up a moon base, we set up a Mars base, is Mars can therefore be the next stepping stone to go beyond. And it's the moons of Jupiter, which I think a lot of people would love to explore directly, because there's a lot of water on those moons, water, hydrogen and oxygen. We can use them for fuel. So that's an ideal place. We could refuel spacecraft off the moons of Jupiter. So the next planet to really land on, or objects, would be the moons of Jupiter, but Mars would be used as the stepping stone for that. We may not see those moons of Jupiter landings in our lifetime, unfortunately, not until the Mars base is fully set up.
Rich, if Norwich went to Mars, do you reckon you'd get a couple of results?
Yeah, we need it, wouldn't we? Yeah.
Just on Elon Musk and going to Mars, I've seen him talking about it. Do you think, because he thinks he can make Mars like planet Earth, do you think that's possible?
Well, he can't make it like planet Earth in the short term. I think what you can have is you can have colonies there, and you can certainly have them under domes and buildings, or perhaps build them slightly underground to survive. That's what you would have to do in the short term. Long term of terraforming, changing Mars's atmosphere to suit the Earth, is something that would happen over a period of tens of thousands of years. We just don't have the technology to do that. But certainly you could build habitats there to actually survive, just like we're surviving habitats in Antarctica and in the Arctic areas at the moment. So, yes, you could build a viable community out there.
So you said change the atmosphere. How do you change an atmosphere of a planet? You said tens of thousands of years. What?
Yeah.
Break down the process.
The process would be to release gases into the atmosphere of Mars. What Mars doesn't have at the moment is volcanic activity. Earth would lose its atmosphere if we didn't have volcanic activity on the planet. It's absolutely critical. Mars's volcanic activity stopped. We're not sure why, but it certainly stopped 350 million years ago, and we're not really 3.5 billion years ago, and we're not really sure why that happened. The trick would be, therefore, to stimulate the planet in order to get the atmosphere to be returned to it. And there's a lot of processes of doing that by releasing carbon dioxide. Ironically enough, carbon dioxide into the atmosphere would be a good way of doing it. Carbon dioxide is trapped in the polar caps. Carbon dioxide is trapped in ice underneath the surface. There's also water there, and that's a good gas to actually to release into the atmosphere. So it would be a question of regasifying the atmosphere. The only problem is sustaining that, because 2 spacecraft are on the way to Mars now, which was launched by the New Glenn rocket the other day, and their job is to measure the interaction between solar radiation, which we just mentioned, and Mars's atmosphere, because it strips Mars's atmosphere away, and they're trying to look at what the levels of that stripping is for safety for astronauts on the surface, and also how could you replace it.
What's gravity like on Mars?
It's about 1/3 that of the Earth, so it's actually so you would bounce around a little bit, so it's very different. So you would bounce around a bit. It's not as bad as the moon, which is only 1/6, so you would actually have a different environment.
Cundy would be good back post.
Which means, of course, you're lighter on Mars than you would be on Earth, so it's a good way to lose weight.
Get up and hang, and then imagine what Tommy would have been like last night. He's still up there. Okay, but that's fascinating to think that we could do something to a whole planet from Earth. I mean, that you say tens of thousands a year.
It would take a long time to actually do that.
Can I ask you, the question I'm thinking now is, when will we see the first human on Mars? What year? You said, 30 years? Or
2030, sometimes after 2030, yeah. I think in the...
So we're
quite close, yeah. It all depends on Elon Musk. His SpaceX rocket was spectacular. We had 2 spectacular successful launches of that vehicle. He's going to do a lot more launches in 2026. And when that happens, he's going to test out the refueling system on board. And when that happens, the solar system is your oyster then. And then he'll be sending 2 unmanned vehicles fully laden with equipment to land on the surface of Mars. So when the humans get there, they'll have 2 spacecraft with full of equipment to set up on the planet. So, yes, it's pushed. Once he's got this system fully operational, and it's well on its way to it now, I think, that'll be it. It'll just open up to us.
Yeah. All right. Loads of questions to come your way. If you've got one, give us a call. 03717 22 33 listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara, Jason Cundy. Reminder, talkSPORT now on your smart TV. Just grab the app on your Android TV and Google TV, or even on Prime Video. talkSPORT live on your screen, as well as your speakers. We're going to be discussing Arsenal. Gabriel's picked up an injury on international duty. How much you concerned, Arsenal fans, with the injuries that you're starting to pick up. But first, we're bringing you Mythbusters live on the Sports Bar. We're joined by Andy Lound, an expert on everything. Get your calls in, ask Loundy a question. 03717 223344. But Loundy, before we head back to the phone lines, we have your first myth to bust. Have a listen to this.
Hello, it's Andy Goldstein here of Andy Goldstein's Drive Time, weekdays, Monday to Friday from 4, proper show. So here's my question for you, and you can't answer with the word it's gravity, because that doesn't mean anything. You need to explain it. So if I was sat on a chair in space, and I know people say there's no up and down, but there is, because if I lifted my arm up in space, I'd be lifting it up, so there is an up and down in space. If I was on a chair in space looking at the planet Earth with the greatest telescope, most powerful telescope ever, and I looked at the North Pole, and you were standing on the North Pole waving at me. I could see you through my telescope waving at me. If I pointed the telescope down, and on the South Pole was, say, O'Hara, and he was waving, would he appear upside down? It's that simple. I look at the top, Cundy's there on the North Pole waving to me. I can see him waving to me. I then take my telescope down, and O'Hara is on the South Pole waving. Is he upside down? You can't say gravity, and you can't say there's no up and down in space, because there is. Explain that to me.
Right, it depends where you're observing from, first of all, which you never quite explained, really. That's important, because you said you were in space. So let's suppose you are in space, say, orbiting Mars, sitting on your chair, strapped to it, of course, otherwise you'd float off it, looking at a telescope. So if you're looking and your physical person, which you say up and down, so if your head is upright and the Earth's North Pole is where you're looking with is in line with your head, then when you look at one guy and he's waving quite happily, yes, he'll be upright. If you look down to the South Pole and look down, you would appear to see the person, to your position in space, appears to be upside down, because their feet is pulled by gravity to the ground. But from your position in space, they do appear upside down. And everything is about relative position in space. Your relative position would see the first person look upright on the North Pole. The second person would appear to you to be upside down on the South Pole. And it's as simple as that, really, because their gravity is holding them both down to the ground.
So if he was upside down, he would
see it in a reverse format. Yes, simple as that. It's all about perspective and your position in time and space. In this particular case, it's just simply an observing thing.
So basically, he's just floating around in space, and whatever. Could they be both sideways at some
They could. If he changes his orientation, then they'd both be standing out towards the side, where north and south appears to be, as he's looking, east and west. It's as simple as that, really. You know, it's same in the football crowd. Is the ball cross the line or not cross the line? It depends on your position in the crowd to see where that ball physically is.
That's a very good point, actually. As the ball crossed the line, you think, no, and you go, oh, no. The curvature of the ball. It's got to be, the whole of the ball has got to be over the whole of the line.
Okay, brilliant. Let's go to Sean. He's a Sunderland fan. Sean?
Shawnee?
Good evening, chaps. How's it going?
All right, Shawnee, you?
Aye, not too bad. New job, drive for Amazon now on the truck, so life's all good.
All right.
Excellent.
Make sure you tune us in every night.
Always. Right, so my question is to... I forgot his name. Loundy. There's no oxygen in space, no?
You need to define that further. There is a lot of oxygen in space. There is...
Right, I was going to... There's no oxygen. How is the sun on fire?
The sun isn't on fire. The sun isn't burning in that sense. The sun is actually a large ball of gas, highly heated gas. And what you're seeing in the sun, it's a very dense gravitational body. And what you have is, at the centre of it, the gravity is so strong and the pressure is so high that hydrogen atoms are fused together. When they fuse together, they form helium. And the process of that forms the heat and light that radiates from the sun. So it's a nuclear powerhouse, which is happening, called nuclear fusion, which is what they're trying to recreate here on the Earth. Power stations here use something called nuclear fission, which is about splitting. But nuclear fusion is what nature does. It fuses hydrogen atoms together, and that's what causes the sun to apparently burn. It's not actually a burning in the true sense. It's a nuclear reaction.
It's hot.
Yeah. So what causes the solar flame? Or the flares?
The solar flares, yes. This is what parts of the burst of radiation that we get from the sun from this process. You have it used to be called the strange walk, which is radioactive material slowly pushing its way through the sun. And what you have is the energy is bursting away from the sun. It's a combination of gravity and pressure trying to keep balance with each other. But at times the flares, burst of energy comes out of the sun itself. So it's the sun emitting its radioactivity.
Okay. Yeah. That's what.
Yeah, Shawnee, there you go. He's answered the question for you. Let's go to Massive Dave, the Arsenal fan. Dave?
All right, Dave-O.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All right, Dave-O.
All right, go on, what's your question?
Obviously, you guys are talking about space, but I'm wondering if Lardy knows much about the supposed land beyond the ice wall, and has he heard about the dark land?
He knows everything, Landy.
About the ice wall, which ice wall are you referring to?
Well, the one by the Arctic, sorry. So beyond the Arctic ice wall, do you believe there's land beyond there?
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like a flat Earth concept. We're not a flat Earth. We are a circular body. We are definitely a circular body.
Do you think we're flat Earth, Dave?
I don't know. There's always theories and concepts.
No, but do you if you had to go one way or the other, do you think we're flat or do you think we're round?
I'd say we're round in the dome.
Yeah. There's no. Yeah, I mean,
it'd be the biggest conspiracy theory ever, right?
Yeah, I mean,
every pilot on the planet would have to be in on it.
Yeah. I mean, this is why I was questioning with the ice wall, because the ice wall does come from a flat Earth thing. But there is also the ice wall, which is in Antarctica, which is the Great Ross Ice Shelf, which I thought it might have been talking about. But if we're talking about the Great Flat Earth thing, the Earth is definitely round. In fact, Eratosthenes first measured that many, many, many centuries ago, and he actually did it by using two sticks, one in Alexandria and one in Cyrene, where
Why is there so many people out there though, that think it's right?
I don't know. I think because people often don't look very localized. So if they see the sun going across the sky, they assume the sun is going around the Earth. It's one of those strange things which has gone back to the past. And a lot of people don't seem to believe science anymore. And it's a very strange thing. Your everyday experience seems to suggest that it's a flat planet, because when you walk in a straight line, you don't feel yourself going around a curve. Well, you won't, because it's that big. But if you look out at sea when you go on your holidays, you'll see ships go. Yeah, you don't see ships coming straight towards you. You see them popping up above the horizon, then come towards you, and that's because they've come up above the curvature of the Earth.
And also, when you are on a plane, if you're, you can see a curvature of Earth.
Yeah.
Does it annoy you that people say that the Earth's flat? Because it annoys me a little bit. It's like, come on.
What annoys me is that the people themselves have either not been taught the science correctly, or they've forgotten the science. And I think it's about education at the end of the day.
Are they thick then? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say they were thick.
Okay.
I just think that they haven't learned what they need to learn about basics in science. I mean, it's the kind of thing you learnt when you were, 6, 7 years old. Right. But is that still happening in schools where they start talking to them about other politically correct things?
Dave said conspiracies. People love a conspiracy, right? People love to think the man didn't land on the moon.
Yes, I know, and that I must admit that does get up my nose.
Oh, that annoys you as well.
I got into trouble on BBC Radio once for swearing because I got really upset with somebody.
No, don't repeat
it. No, I can't say it.
Loundy, I'm one of them people.
Really? Why?
Oh, Jay!
I don't think it happened.
Yes, it did. We landed on the moon. We photographed the vehicle still sitting on the lunar surface. By several nations have photographed them. I have been involved in an experiment where we bounced lasers off the instruments left on the surface of the moon.
Why have we not gone back?
We haven't gone back because Richard Nixon cancelled the programme because he wanted to concentrate on space station work.
We've got loads of other programmes now.
No, it was simply how much money you can spend on it. And this is why private sector has pushed forward to go to the moon. China now on the moon, of course, have spent spacecraft to the moon, and they're keen to put humans on the moon, and they'll be doing it on between 2030 and 2040 as well.
So you've annoyed me now, Jay.
Have you seen the state of that ship that they sent up there that apparently landed on the moon?
What do you mean?
Honestly. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Like Robin Reliant.
Oh, well, come on. I mean, it's basic science tells you it will work. I mean, what you're looking for is a sleek, pretty-looking spacecraft. You don't need that.
I think the Americans wanted to get there before the Russians.
They did get there before the Russians.
Exactly, but did they?
Humans. Yes, they did. Absolutely. No, 100% they got there. I mean, if they didn't do it, I would wear a Birmingham City shirt. That's how convinced I am.
Oh, you weren't there, though.
Sorry?
You weren't there.
No, enough data has come back to show us that they're there. The spacecraft has been photographed on the surface of the moon. The items have been brought back from the moon by the astronauts that we confirm is from the moon.
A lot of things on the moon that are similar to, the desert in...
No, it isn't.
Oh,
because if you
here we go.
analyse it, you can find that the isotopes within that material cannot exist on
Explain
the
the
Earth.
isotopes, Jay.
I don't know. There's a lot of things, it's very similar to Earth. I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure. That's one of the only things I look at and go,
No,
don't know, mate.
Definitely
Seems a bit dodgy.
Definitely. Basic science will tell you it's
Spacecraft
definitely
looks
there.
dodgy.
I wouldn't disagree that the spacecraft was dodgy because they only had a 50-50 chance of doing it because, the technology was really pushing the limit. And even they knew they only had a 50-50 chance of doing it. And that's one of the reasons that the programme was cancelled because Nixon said, no, we need to push the technology forward, which is exactly now what we're doing with Elon Musk.
What did we leave there? There's a buggy up there, right?
Well, there's several buggies up there which were left by the things, but there's also a lot of scientific...
Things? What things?
The things. Look,
No,
things.
no.
Who left some things up there?
They got scientific instruments, they got devices...
So there's a lot of Detroiters up there.
There's a lot of scientific instruments were left up there for measuring moonquakes, to measure the vibrations of the moon, which we've used. Reflector lasers, reflector diamonds up there, so you could reflect lasers back to the Earth to measure the distance between the Earth and the moon. They were left up there. The buggies were left there with a series
How
of
did they
cameras.
launch off the moon?
It's basically the same way you launch from the Earth. You use a rocket and it blasts you up. And as the moon is only 1/6 Earth's gravity, it was easier to actually lift the spacecraft off the surface of the moon to dock with the spacecraft in orbit.
Don't they get rid of the rocket boosters once we...
Yeah, once they docked with the lunar spacecraft in orbit and the astronauts transferred, they dumped then that thing, which then crashed the spacecraft back onto the surface of the moon, and then they came back to the Earth. So you leave most of your junk actually behind. In fact, if you're keen about detritus, there's bags of excrement on the moon.
Is there?
Yes.
So what we're talking, 1969 excrement?
69, 70, 71, 72, 73.
There's a lot of...
excrement, 72.
And I'm guessing because there's no oxygen or very little, it's going to almost like be as the day it left.
It's preserved, so you could take DNA from it, essentially.
Right, we've got a break. Mate, this is ridiculous. We've got loads of calls coming in, so we're probably going to have to keep Landy on. 03717 22 33 44. listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara, and Jason Cundy. We've got Andy Lowndes with us as well. Have you got?
I've got a question.
Go on.
I've got a question.
Go on, go for it.
Okay, I'm guessing there is no police of space, or is there?
Brilliant question, this now, because this has come up in the last week. In the last week, there's been a big discussion going on about the different bases on the moon. The Chinese want to put a base on the moon. The Americans want to put a base on the moon. India is looking at the idea of doing this as well. Strange enough, Russia is interested in doing it. And the argument is how do we actually have a police force to police the moon to stop conflicts between nations on the moon itself? And conferences are being held at the moment to discuss policing occupation of the moon's surface. So yes, there isn't one at the moment. There's international treaty. The 1967...
We're talking about borders, maybe.
Borders, yeah.
On the
moon.
moon.
1967 treaty is out of date now by a long way because the Outer Space Treaty states that no nation can claim any part of the moon. The Americans never claimed the moon when they went to it. They said, we came in peace for all mankind. They claimed nothing on the moon. If China goes there and they're after raw materials, minerals, rare earth metals, do you think they're going to claim it? Of course they're going to claim it. They're going to claim this section of the moon. So the Americans are probably going to do that when they land. So you're going to have these demarcation zones.
Is there a part of the moon that's more appealable? It's a little bit like on Earth. If you looked at the Earth and went, right, where's the gold? Where's the raw materials, coal, oil, that sort of thing? Or is it literally, it's the same place?
At present moment in time, it's the South Polar region the Americans are focusing at because that's where water seems to be. And water is critical because you can use the hydrogen and oxygen for fuel and oxygen and all sorts of things and breathing. So that's where they're going for where the water is at the moment. The Chinese have gone on the far side of the moon, which was a very clever manoeuvre to make and brought samples back to see what sort of materials are there. They've also got a satellite orbiting the moon so they can keep in communication with that vehicle on the far side. So they're already setting up the communications network for habitations on the moon. So they're very sharp, the Chinese are, very sharp indeed. They've just tested their manned lunar lander, the crewed lunar lander, in the laboratories. So they're getting ready, and they think the far side could be a good place for rare earth metals and materials like that. And of course, if they're on the far side of the moon, they're out of everybody's way.
Oh, you see, you're adding to that conspiracy theory, aren't you?
Well, you can't tell what they're up to.
Is there a dark side of the moon, or is that just...
No, it's called the far side of the moon.
Pink Floyd would...
Yes, it's the far side of the moon. Everyone calls it dark side of the moon, but it actually is illuminated for half of our month because it's a 29-day circle of the Earth. So for half that time, 14 days or thereabouts, the far side is illuminated, the near side is dark.
Okay, let's go to Liam. He's a Spurs fan. Liam?
Right, Liam.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, Liam.
Hi, Liam.
Got a question for Lowndy?
Yeah, just a simple one, mate. Do you believe in UFOs?
Hi. Well, yes. Unidentified flying objects, which is the definition of the object. It's an object that's flying in the sky that we have not identified. Yes, we see them all the time. If you're going to make that leap then and say, oh, are they spacecraft from extraterrestrials? I'd have to say there is no evidence to support that. I have a science training and a science background, and I need evidence in front of me to say yes or no on something like that. Interesting enough, I am doing...
As a science background, you know about what they're doing in CERN in Switzerland, where
Yes.
they're crashing all the atoms.
Yes, they are.
And they found that God particle, the Bostrom atom, which they can't explain.
That's correct, yes. I mean, the great thing is about firing particles into each other and splitting them apart is we're seeing new particles being formed, some which only have terrifyingly tiny pieces of a second existence where they come from. And particles seem to come in and out of existence by them colliding with that. And trying to understand these particles is really important because the Higgs boson particles was the critical one because we needed to know what gave everything its mass. There must have been an atomic particle which gives us our mass, which is really important. And they actually discovered that. But, and here's the thing, the more times they do these experiments, the more they're finding things that they don't understand. And this is what does your noodling, because we're far from knowing everything and trying to fully understand the nature of the universe.
But if there's
Well, this is what interests me, you see, because do you remember that film Event Horizon where they bend space in time?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think they're discovering how to open up wormholes and things like that through these experiments. That's my theory, and that's my theory that if there is UFOs, that's how they cover vast distances in a short amount of time. That's what I think.
But that's a good hypothesis because the hypothesis has been that if you could get enough gravity, you could actually bend space-time and therefore create a wormhole. As that on paper, mathematically speaking, scientists have said, yeah, this is what you would do. But the amount of energy required to do it is absolutely staggering. It's far more energy to actually bend space-time to create a usable wormhole than is produced by all the stars in all the galaxy in 1 million years. So getting the amount of energy to actually do that is the hard thing to actually do. In paper, mathematics, yes, it can be done. But where do you get the energy from to actually do it in the first place? And that's why it's probably unlikely. And obviously, if you actually create a wormhole to allow a spacecraft to pass through, that would have effects on our planet, on the atmosphere and the local region, which we certainly don't observe.
What about black holes?
Yeah, black holes.
I mean, what about what's in them?
Yeah, a black hole is interesting because a black hole is essentially a high gravitational field, often caused by the collapsing of a star, which collapses on itself. And it gains that much matter and it becomes that massive, the gravity to escape it exceeds the speed of light, hence black hole. And it can keep pulling material in if it gets too close, so it just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and denser and denser and denser. Sucks more material in. Now, where does that material go? We think when it falls in, it breaks down to its component particles. However, there's a new theory come out, which is a really interesting one. They think it could explode outwards as a white hole. And our universe that we live in is the results of a white hole from a black hole in another universe. In which case, then, there are billions of black holes in our universe, which therefore could be creating billions of parallel universes out there. There's one for your noodle.
Wow.
I mean, I've got so many questions.
I know you have.
I've got to go to break.
I know, we've got to go to break.
The clock.
I've never known anything like this. Sports Bar never ceases to amaze me. We've got a full switchboard of calls for Loundy. Never did I think this would happen. But we're going to keep Loundy on because people want to have their say. 03 717 223344.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go, always.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've scoured the planet to find out. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try playing in a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle at the world's northernmost professional club. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the 97-98 Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on a windswept cliff in the Faroe Islands. In Euro 2000 qualifying, Craig Brown's men were taken to fishing village Toftir. Kevin Gallagher called the pitch a cowfield and the wind like Pittodrie on a bad day. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time, leading to these absolute scenes, and still one of Scotland's most embarrassing results.
Daft little ground, silly game.
But away trips don't come any tougher than a lung-busting schlep up the Andes to face Bolivia in La Paz. But now the Bolivians have taken home advantage to another level. The country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Grass doesn't even grow up here. Bolivia have not lost here yet. The longest unbeaten run in any professional league ever belongs to Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda if you must. They've gone 7 years without defeat at the Rajko Mitic in Serbia's Superliga. Their fans are pretty intimidating as well, but they're not as loud as this mob. Galatasaray's Ali Sami Yen Stadium's officially the loudest in world football. In a derby with Fenerbahce, Galatasaray fans set a Guinness World Record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead, and pretty tough to carry out your manager's instructions when you can't even hear them. However, our most intimidating away day is in Wales, where cameras can't enter and players can't leave. HMP Prescoed. This prison team was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Early June 1939, Germany. Always a tough place to go to.
Good evening, you are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Still to go, we're going to have some fun. The rest of talkSPORT coming up. But first, we're bringing you Mythbusters live from the Sports Bar tonight. We're joined by Andy Land, an expert on everything. Get your calls in, ask Landy a question, anything you want. 03717 22 3344. Let's go to Andrew, who's a Newcastle fan. Andrew?
Andy?
How's it going, lads? Are you okay?
All right, mate. You?
Yeah, I'm good. I listen all the time, but this is the first time calling because Andy is talking or answering some questions about space, and I thought it'd be pretty interesting to ask a question if that's okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, nice one. Nice to chat with you, Andy. I remember watching like an audience with Brian Cox like a couple of years ago, and I never caught the end of it. And there was something that he was covering which kind of always caught my interest. I think it's kind of widely agreed that the speed of light is the fastest that anything can travel in the universe. But I think the one thing that he was talking about was something called quantum entanglement, which is where two elements can be at a different state no matter how far away from each other that they are, and that could be billions of light years away.
Yeah.
So how can those two elements instantaneously be in different states if there needs to be some form of communication which travels faster than light to make that change happen?
Great question, and you're absolutely right. You're looking at something...
by the way, question of the night.
I mean, you lost me.
Quantum entanglement is something that's really bothering physics at the moment because we don't fully understand how it works. And you're absolutely right. Why do two particles over different distances, if one changes, the other one, its compatriot does change as well? We absolutely don't know how that actually works. This is down in this area of quantum physics, and quantum physics is just brilliant. Funny enough, when we went in the break there, I was just talking to a guy outside about quantum physics, and this is the biggest thing which we're looking at, because everything we start to look at in nature itself seems to be coming down and down to this level. Let me take this as a slightly different movement, which is quite an important one. If we look at some of the great mysteries that we have in the universe itself, and this could be, you could go to ghosts or everything you like, what we're looking at. The one thing that seems I think could be a pattern with this could be down at the quantum level with this quantum entanglement, could be actually what explains some of the strange things we observe in our everyday life, which is quite strange. But it would be this quantum entanglement which does it. How this communication works, we absolutely have no idea how it does it. We just know it does. There's a bizarre twist to this, what you said, when we're talking about black holes. We found that if you've got pairs of particles, if one of those pairs gets pulled into the black hole, the other one could actually be trapped outside it. And we're fascinated to know what actually that happens, what happens at that particular case, because there's a break then for the first time. And they can't communicate between each other, as far as we know. There can be no communication between the two. So the states of these two paired particles would actually be different in the same universe. And that's something we're trying to do experiments with at the moment. This is why we have telescopes like the Webb telescope looking deep into space. This is why we have the Hadron Collider colliding particles to try and understand how this actually works. Because if we understand how this works, it would mean that when we're starting to start with quantum computers are starting at the moment to come in line, we could have computers that would instantaneously produce answers. They could actually work on the time travel basis. They could correct something before it's actually gone wrong, and therefore we'd have the fastest computers in the universe. So your question is critical now, because you've actually asked something which is the fundamental study we're doing in physics.
I mean, astonishing. So you mentioned Brian Cox, though. I love Cox.
Yes,
by
brilliant.
the way. He does a lot of talks, Cox, about the Andromeda, right? And
Andromeda Galaxy.
The Andromeda Galaxy, about travelling there at the speed of light. And if you travel to the Andromeda Galaxy, yet you come back again at the speed of light back to Earth, something very bizarre happens. Explain to us what that theory is.
One of the things you have, you get this time dilation effect, and if anyone who watches the film Interstellar, and I'm not connected to the movie at all, but I have to say it's one of the best physics films that ever there's been. It explains the physics visually looking at it perfectly. It's brilliant. I usually take it by going to a closer object, the nearest star to us, which is only 4.2 light years away. So it takes us 4.2 years to get to the star.
Speed of light.
At the speed of light, 4.2 years. We come back 4.2 years, 8.4 years. It takes us around journey. You've aged 8.4 years because you're in the spacecraft. Earth may have aged 100, 150 years by the time you get back. And this is this time dilation effect we get in physics. Einstein was the first one to describe this, and it was thought that, is this true or not? NASA tested this. Two twins who worked actually, one twin, had two people who are twins, let's get this right. Okay, one went into space, one stayed down on the Earth, and biologically they studied them both. One had aged differently to the other one, and they'd only been in Earth orbit. So they found that this time dilation effect does actually, and is a physical effect. It is not just a random physics effect.
So it's a time effect as well, though.
Yes, it is a time effect.
Yes.
Time is complicated, you see, because when we talk of space-time, we see time as another dimension. We don't see it as a clock just ticking away. It's very different. We can give you a good example of this. You can actually demonstrate it yourself, and people have actually done this. If you're on a train and you're going past and you look at the trees close, you're whizzing past. But if you look in the distance, the building doesn't seem to go very far. Well, there's a time dilation effect. If you stand at that building, look back, the train just whizzes past. But you don't see it that way. You see the building still slowly moving. There's a great example of this effect that you actually get, even close in. On immense distances like the Andromeda Galaxy, which is many, many thousands of light years away, the effect is far more profound.
Okay. Let's go to Rob. He's a Chelsea fan. Rob?
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 Can you hear me?
Up the Chelsea.
Go on, Rob.
I've never felt so stupid listening to this.
How do you think I feel?
Yeah. My question is to Andy about Three Eye Atlas. Do you think that's a comet, or what do you think it is?
It's a comet. Three Eye Atlas is...
Does it change direction, though?
Yes, I mean, you'd expect it to. The Three Eye Atlas is an object that's actually come from outside the solar system and is passing through the solar system. I mean, it's been passing through our solar system for tens of thousands of years, probably millions of years, actually, but we've only just observed it because it's coming close to the sun. And it's an interesting object because as it's come close to the sun, it's heated up, full of ices. Sun heats up the ices, they sublimate, means they turn from a solid to a gas without going through a liquid phase. The solar wind blows the tail back and you get a tail. Great, it's a comet. Some people have speculated it's a spaceship because it's changed direction. However, as it gets close to the sun, the gases heat up. This material, jets shoot out from it and act like a force to change the direction of the comet. We see this with comets all the time. There's nothing unusual with this. We would think it would I would expect it to be more profound on an object like this because it's spent hundreds of millions of years, if not billions of years, travelling through space, picking up all sorts of ices and dust and detritus. So suddenly it's heated up for the first time. It's going to be a violent outburst, and that will suddenly violently change its course, which is what you would expect. So it's a comet.
If we have a comet that coming towards Earth, it's going to hit us. Do we have the technology to stop it?
It's a good question. A lot of research is going on at the moment. We've collided a spacecraft called DART with the moon, a small tiny moon of an asteroid, in order to see if we could deflect something. That was very dramatic because we found out it was a more violent eruption than we expected. An asteroid could be a metallic asteroid or a rocky asteroid or a mixture of the two. They'd be the hardest ones to deflect. So we would need many years' notice and to try and deflect them years in advance. So a fraction of a degree deflection, if it's, say, 20 years out, will end up as many hundreds of kilometres and would miss the Earth. If it's close to us, we probably couldn't do it. Comet is different. Because it's icy, if we puncture into the comet, we break the crust, the ices underneath suddenly erupt in a violent manoeuvre, and that jet from that could actually help push the comet away from us.
A bit like Armageddon. Film.
Armageddon does it far too close to the Earth. That would not be possible that close to the Earth. It wouldn't. I love how it breaks into two and goes right past us. But that ain't going to happen, really. Bruce Willis, nice idea, but no, you wouldn't get away with it like that, I'm afraid. You would have to be a lot further out. I mean, you want to deflect the comet or the object before it gets inside the orbit of Mars, really, to stand any chance at all of protecting us.
Is there a possibility that there could be one coming towards us that we haven't seen, which is hiding behind the sun, behind another star, behind another planet, and it's just going to come bang?
Another great question. Yes, we've got a spacecraft being launched soon, and that's actually going to look sunward because the ones that come from behind the sun we can't actually see at the moment, and therefore there's a spacecraft launching for that purpose. And the answer is yes, there is an object coming towards us. It's going to hit us that we haven't identified yet because 1908 Tunguska, an object exploded over Tunguska, destroying thousands of square miles of forest. It didn't. If it had exploded, for instance, over Europe, it would have flattened a city the size of Belgium, for instance, size of Brussels. So it would have been a really dangerous event. So yes, we are going to get hit again. It's in the nature of things. It could be within the next few months, something we haven't seen. But again, it could be in the next 10, 15 million years. We simply don't know. And that's why we've got a lot of telescopes and our spacecraft looking out there in space to try and find something. Because we're only here as humans because the dinosaurs died out. That's what led to the rise of the mammals. The dinosaurs only died out because we got hit by an object.
Do you think that'll happen again?
It will happen again. Within the history of the Earth, it will happen.
I mean, that changed the whole Earth, right? As you mentioned, the whole species was eradicated. Going back to Jay's question there about we should be able to do something about it or lessen the impact.
If we have advanced knowledge, if we learn it in advance, right. Yes. If we only have a week's notice, no.
Let me ask you this: the asteroid that hit the Earth back.
Yes. Okay.
How much knowledge? If the dinosaurs had computers and they were intelligent enough and they had the technology, how much information would they have received knowing it's coming towards them? How much time would they have been given? I know they didn't have a clue, but if they did have a clue, what clue would they have had?
Again, they would need the technology that we have with big telescopes and things like that to see it. If you can visually see it, it's far too late. It's way too late. It's too late then. You forget it. you might as well put your head between your legs and kiss your friend goodbye. I'm afraid that's the nature of the game. I know you have to live with these realities that we know it could be all over which would be a big tragedy.
Loundy, I've got one more person to get on. Noel's a Chelsea fan. Noel?
Right, Noel?
Riveting session, by the way. Very, very quick question. See lots of documentaries and stuff on TV. Did the aliens build the pyramids? And taking it one stage further, all the stuff that we've seen from many, many decades, thousands of years ago, did aliens have any effect on that?
And the answer is no, aliens did not build the pyramids. The pyramid construction is actually a relatively simple thing to do. I mean, strangely enough, the metrology, the measurement and the science to actually build the pyramids was well within human capability. Strangely enough, I used to be curator of a museum of weighing, of all things. So we used to do studies on these things. And no, they didn't need any alien ability to actually do it at all. So no, aliens, as far as we can tell, absolutely no involvement.
When they did the pictures in the pyramids, when they do all the little drawings that we found.
Yes.
There's giants.
Well, I mean, you don't know what they're trying to depict when they're in that. I mean, we've got. I mean, you look at some pictures that we actually draw in the art galleries in modern times now, and there are giants and things like that. Artistic representations are one thing, and there's a lot. I have to say, if we go away from those pyramids, and if you want to look at, for instance, in North America, where you've got some rather interesting drawings in places there, I think they're of more interest to actually look at. But then again, Native Americans did smoke things in order to give them an experience to actually feel as if they're going to another world, and that would have led them to draw things. I mean, there's nothing weird about that, because, and if you're in an area in say Cornwall, for instance, or Edinburgh, where you've got lots of granite, where you've got radon gas coming up, that can cause effects which cause people to draw things.
Easter Island heads, that's all I'm saying. Easter Island heads.
Well, no, it's the whole body, remember.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the whole body.
Loud, I've got a break again, and producer's just told me that we can keep you for another 15 minutes. This is unbelievable. 03717 223344.
Yeah.
You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Space Bar, we should call it, really. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. We've still got Loundy with us. Never seen anything like this on the Sports Bar. No football night. Full switchboard of calls for an hour and a half. Fair play to everyone. Obviously, everyone's obsessed with a bit of space chat. And I think we've come to the conclusion that Loundy's going to have to become a feature on the show.
Part of the Space Bar.
Yeah, and he's going to have to come in every month for a Loundy hour. We're going to take some more. You've got a question, right?
I do have a question. So, the wow signal.
Yes.
Right, explain to everyone what the wow signal is. It's never been explained as far as I'm aware, but tell people what it is.
Yes, the wow signal was a radio signal that was received by a radio telescope from, I think it's Ohio State University. And the radio signal picked the signal. Now, the wow signal, they called it the wow signal because when you get background radiation coming in from space and you're listening to stars exploding, radiation, things like that, if there's a signal which is very, very different, it would stand out as a huge spike in the system. And they wrote the word wow on it because they said, whoa, what have we just picked up? This is not normal background radiation. This appears to be an artificial signal. So they pointed all the telescopes they could to try and get a repeat, and they never got a repeat signal from it. And therefore, it was always suspected that they may have picked up an extraterrestrial communication signal. However, lots of studies have been done ever since, and one of the things that was noticed was comet Kohoutek was actually passing through close to the sun, not far from where the signal was being transmitted from. And they think the Kohoutek actually, because it being an icy body, and again, all this material coming up, reflected some radio noise from the sun down to the Earth. And it would have looked like a huge sudden spike of a signal, a complete fluke. And it would explain why the signal hadn't repeated. So it does look like it was an unfortunate reflection by a comet from radiation coming from the sun rather than a true extraterrestrial signal.
Okay, we've got Sam. He's a West Ham fan. All right, Sam?
Right, Sammy boy.
Sam?
Unbelievable show.
Go on, you got a question for us?
It might be slightly off the subject you've all been talking about, like regarding space and all that, but I just want to know if you know, Andy, since you know everything. When languages were obviously like first introduced or whatever, how on earth, Cundy, I've asked you this before, how on earth do you teach someone else? Like who originally taught someone else another language?
That's a good question, actually. It's one of the studies that have gone on in linguistics, which is quite an important one. It seems that a good film to watch, if you're interested, talking about films, is called Quest for Fire. It's a brilliant film, and that looks at the early human development and the grunts and groans from early primitive humans to try and identify what they're trying to do. Now, depending where you were on the planet, the grunts and groans were different. So therefore, different types of sounds that you were making were to actually give indications of whether it was food, eat, hungry, sex, whatever you want to do. And that was important. And this seems to have evolved over time because as evolution happened, our vocal cords evolved so you could make more complicated sounds. And when you make more complicated sounds, you can start putting strings together of words and things like that. So different areas of the planet of humans seem to develop that at very similar times. And then eventually it sort of evolved rather than you suddenly taught somebody it. And when babies learn language, they're actually listening to their parents. And this is why you've got parents, one speaks French, one speaks English. They can pick up both languages. If the mother speaks to them in French and the father speaks to them in English, they'll pick up both languages because they're trying to learn how to communicate. That's the key. Other species do this, actually. Whales and dolphins have complicated vocalities, but so do wolves. They've actually decoded all the wolf calls now, which is quite remarkable. So you can actually create a wolf call, and wolves somewhere else will understand what you're trying to say to them, which is quite staggering. Interestingly enough, though, primates like the apes and things don't seem to have evolved this, and everyone's wondering why that hasn't happened, but it has happened with us.
Yeah.
There you go, Sam.
There you go, Sam.
Yeah, answered your question. Grunts and groans it started with.
Grunts and groans. I don't even want to go there.
Still grunt now, don't we?
Still grunt and groan. That's what this show's sometimes about, grunt and groaning.
Let's go to Eli, Man City fan. Eli?
Eli?
I'm very much here. It's absolutely fascinating. Love this show.
Go on then, what you got for us?
Well, I am fascinated by the human psyche and the connection to everything in the universe, including atoms. And I was researching the double slit theory and how atoms could reverse themselves when observed by a human being. Is this the most profound scientific experiment ever done to link both atoms and the human psyche together?
Right, hold on. I mean, Eli, okay. Eli, brilliant question, I think. You've lost, I think. Jay,
yeah, you lost me.
Okay,
Atom.
yeah, lost me. Lounge, has he lost you or no? I'm guessing he hasn't.
No, I mean...
Can you break this down for the sports bar listener?
Double slit theory is quite good. It's a lot of it's about observation as much as anything else, because the double slit concept was the movement of particles one way or another and how you observe them, essentially. And with the human psyche, how does the human psyche do it? The point with a lot of this is, and we mentioned this slightly earlier, is about your position in time and space when you're making an observation. And the human psyche is one of the big issues with this. And Wittgenstein, the philosopher, talked about this. He talked about, if you, under the table here, do we have a rhinoceros, for instance? And
Are you asking me?
Yeah. And you say no.
I'm going to say no.
Well, have a look.
No.
And then you say, there isn't one there. But the act of looking made it disappear. Now, you might think that's stupid. In physics, that's not true. Because we've noticed in physics that the way we observe something can change the way that particle behaves.
By looking at it?
By purely looking at it. The way we observe something changes the actual particle. And that is where we have a real problem. And as he says, it's all about psyche, and that is really quite important. We need, for want of a better word, God's eye view of the universe, which we could never have. It's impossible for us to do that.
How does it know we're looking at it?
Sorry?
How does it know we're looking at it?
That's the question. You see, that's the point. The pure act of the observation changes the way it's observed. Let me give you the simplest example for this is water. Is water waves or particles? Which is the same issue with light, which is what the double slit experiment used for, right? Well, it's both at the same time, but we can't observe the wave and the particle at the same time. If you look at the ocean, you see the waves. But if you use atomic physics, you can see hydrogen and oxygen, you see the particles, but you can't see both simultaneously. And that's the real problem we have.
Okay.
Well,
Loundy, we've run out of time with you. Obviously, there's still more to ask you. I'm sure we'll have to get you. We didn't even touch on the Titanic, which you are an expert in as well. So we're going to have to get you in. And Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. I mean, unbelievable stuff. Last question from me. Are you an alien?
On Earth? No, I'm not an alien. But to extraterrestrials, then yes, I am an alien.
Are we aliens?
It's your perspective. It depends on your perspective. It's interesting that we could actually... this is another big question, because of panspermia, where we could actually, this Earth been seeded by organisms from another galaxy, could have actually seeded life on Earth. And therefore, although we are now evolved in Earth, our origins could be extraterrestrial.
Because Cundy always comes up with the point that we're the only thing on Earth.
We're the only living species, as far as I'm aware, that actually need clothes. That's the thing I can't get my head around.
That's a very good point, because we have lost the need.
Yeah.
You know, we don't grow the hair unless you have a protein. There are protein issues where if you're left in the wild, you actually do grow more hair to actually protect you from that environment. But we've evolved to a stage now where we actually don't do that. It's how our evolution has worked. It makes it interesting, because if you look at it, early humans didn't have claws, very sharp teeth to defend ourselves, yet we evolved tools and materials to fight to defend ourselves and protect ourselves. I mean, you go to any of the big football clubs and you know how successful the fighting can actually be to actually defend themselves. But yes, it's interesting how we've evolved in that way, where we've actually need our technology and our development to survive as a species. Makes us unique on the planet. Absolutely right.
Okay, Loundy, you're a legend. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Well done.
Thank you.
We're going to have to get you on again. Unbelievable stuff. And thanks for everyone for phoning up as well. Some questions, but you lost me after about 5 seconds. But brilliant stuff from Loundy. We're going to go and move back to football. I'm going to bring you the latest odds ahead of this weekend's Premier League games coming up next. You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. We've got back pages coming up, but time to talk odds now. talkSPORT Bet, Ambassador Ryan.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. From weekly broadcast boosts to lucky dips and brilliant bet builders, bring it on at talksportbet.com. 18+ gambleaware.org.
Rhino.
Evening, lads. How you both doing? You good?
I'm all right, matey. I'm all right. We've had our minds blown tonight.
Best show ever. It is just the best show ever. I've been listening so intently, I almost forgot what I was coming on for. I forgot to make my notes. It was unreal, wasn't it? And it dawned on me about 10 minutes ago, I've just been given the hardest job on radio following that. How do you follow that?
I know.
Well, come on in, Rhino. You're
Tough
good,
gig.
matey. Come on.
I'll tell you what.
Don't doubt yourself, Rhino.
I've got a big one for you. First one. What are the odds on aliens being out there?
Listen, we'll price that up. We'll do a little sports bar special.
Special with Loundy Hour.
The Loundy special.
Loundy Hour is coming every month. North London Derby. Let's get into it. It's the big one that everyone's going to talk about over the next few days. Arsenal Spurs, what are the odds?
Yeah, it's certainly a moment in time for Arsenal. I know you've kind of touched on it at the top of the show, where title credentials, defensive prowess, it will be tested more than ever because they kept 8 clean sheets. Then all of a sudden they conceded 2 against Sunderland. Sunderland, a great side, but I don't think we expected that really because of how good they've been. And then Gabriel injured, Calafiori doubt as well. Timber, apparently there's some worries about his fitness too. So it is certainly a moment in time, and it's going to test their mettle, that's for sure. JB, you got to feel confident with all that being said. I know you talked about injuries at the start, but you've got to be feeling this one.
I'm not. I wouldn't say confident to win. I think our away form has been good this season, so I think we can cause an upset. Whether that's enough to get 3 points, I don't think we've got enough.
No, but maybe get something.
I think we can get something from the game. Yeah, Gabriel being injured is obviously a plus for us. But I just don't. You don't know. I don't know what Spurs is going to turn up.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you talk about Gyökeres as well. I mean, he's potential doubt as well. So it's a good time to play them. Now, the reason why I ask that is Arsenal are the massive favourites at 4-11, and it's because I take no pleasure in saying this. Spurs are as big as 7-1. 7-1 to win on Sunday.
It's generous, you know. Bearing in mind, look, I expect Arsenal to win, but Jay's right. Arsenal's home form is excellent. Spurs' away form is excellent, and you know it's a tough one to call on paper because of that. But Arsenal being at home, I just haven't shade it.
I know what you mean, but you're right. It is generous, 7-1. I did raise an eyebrow. Even the draw could be worth looking at. 18-5, 18-5, not bad. 1 up early payout is 2-1 for Spurs. If Spurs go 1 up, talkSPORT bet payout at 2-1, so that's not too bad either. I'm calling Arsenal to win to 0. Like you say, maybe it could be a 1-0 or what have you, but that's 13-10. I think that's a good price. And my big brain pick of the day, seeing as we had Loundy on, I've just been thinking about this and crunching the numbers right. Richarlison to get a card. It's 21-2 because let's be honest, if he scores, he'll probably take off his shirt because he's embarrassing. So that's my pick.
Okay, not the worst pick. The two cities play one another. Newcastle versus Manchester. What are the odds on this one?
Yeah, headline for the Premier League's perspective is City can close the gap on Arsenal with this 2 points as well. So it is one of them. It's a tight league this year, but I mean Newcastle, they've just been too hit and miss. I'm sure for the Newcastle fans liking. That's just how it is. Now Man City are the favourites for this one, but they're just shy of evens, boys. Literally just shy of it. Newcastle are 5-2, and the draw's on at 13-5. So I'm looking at what you guys can look at, and I can't look anywhere else but the two big men up top for these two teams. You've got Erling Haaland right now. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's back to his best. He's 3-4 anytime. Definitely worth considering for your bet builders. Or you can go Voltemada. You know, he's more than a decent replacement for Isak. He's been good this season. 31-20. So contemplate him for your Newcastle bias bet builders. Now, I'm just going to quickly focus on the most un-Pep-like player that's performing really well for Pep, Ndoku. He's been so good. He's always looked like he's had the attributes, hasn't he? But we're seeing the finished product now as well, and there's a few talkSPORT bet boosters. One shot on target is boosted to 7-5. I like that in the form he's in. And to get an assist is 7-2. That's also a booster. So those are two good Doku markets.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Burnley-Chelsea, the early kick-off on Saturday. What are the odds?
Yeah, if you need a reminder about what happened for the international break, I certainly did anyway. Chelsea gave Wolves a whooping 3-0, and Burnley lost 3-2 to West Ham in a thriller. So that's where we are. But you talked about injuries at the top of the show as well. Just looking at Chelsea's, man. Lavia out, Neto a maybe, Colwell out, Palmer out, Badiashile out, Enzo 50-50. It's. I mean, that's just the first team I did my research on. It's crazy right now. Burnley have an opportunity to move up to 14th. But they're 11-2 to do so. It's Chelsea at the favourites. Of course, they are 9-20. The draw's on at 16-5. So even the draw, you know, that's quite a tasty price. Chelsea to win, both teams to score. I think that can happen because Burnley do know where the back of the net is. That's 5-2 from talkSPORT bet. But you can look at some assists here. Esteval, he might be off the bench, but that's a 4-1 for him to get an assist. And Garnacho, you know, hate him or love him, he's still registering those assists and those goals at the moment. 29-10 to get an assist. That's not a bad price. If you want the Burnley bias, boys, 17-10, 1 up early payout for Burnley. Burnley go 1 up, talkSPORT better payout. So I'm quite enjoying that.
Okay.
Whooping.
Any other games that stick out as a bit of a, you know, a punt that you could go at? Who Man United got at the weekend?
Everton. Well, they got them on Monday, but they're at home. They're 7-10 favourites. Everton are 7-2. If you do want the Everton bias, they're on at 7-2 or 14-5 for a draw, which. I mean, it's been 2 draws on the bounce for Manchester United. So as a Man United fan, my eyes do gravitate towards a draw. But maybe that's just because I've been hurt so much in the past, boys. Liverpool back at home to Nottingham Forest, but they're 2-5 favourites. If you think Forest can continue that kind of misery that they've been experiencing as of late, they're 6-1 Forest away from home. So a few things you can look at. But I'm just glad she's back, boys, honestly.
Yeah.
It's been too long. 2 weeks too long.
Yeah, it always feels like that. I mean, to be fair, the international break was brilliant this one, but sometimes they can drag. Just on the injuries that Arsenal are getting, Rhino, has it changed the betting in terms of the Premier League title?
Probably not, to be honest with you. I'll have a look for you now. Premier League outrights. It's Arsenal that's still the favourites. They're on at 8-13, and Manchester City are still 2-1 behind them. But if you actually, the interesting thing here is if you look at all the other teams in the betting, it really drops off after Man City at 2-1. It's Liverpool at 10-1. So Arsenal still the odds-on favourites at 8-13. So it's not affected much, but obviously just watch this space after the weekend.
Okay, Rhino, you're a star, mate.
Cheers,
Thank
Rhino.
you.
Nice one, boys. Take care.
Cheers, bud.
All right, that was a look at the latest odds. Thanks to talkSPORT Bet. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. Begin Red Dog.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. From weekly broadcast boosts to lucky dips and brilliant bet builders. Bring it on at talksportbet.com. 18+ gambleaware.org.
Right, don't go anywhere because up next we've got the back pages. You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. We'll have some fun. Rest of talkSPORT coming up. But first, it's time for the back pages.
JC.
Jack Cunningham joins us. All right, Jake?
Evening, lads. So, what on earth was that? Honestly, that was unbelievable. Andy Lounge stuff.
It was ridiculous stuff.
It was absolutely ridiculous. Like, I thought it was pretty switched on, but now there was some stuff that I had no idea what was going on about.
Unbelievable. Let's get into some back pages.
Yep,
back page of the Sun, Freedom. What's that?
Yeah, so Ruben Amorim's been speaking about sort of what he thinks has been the turning point in Manchester United's fortunes and his fortunes himself. And it was actually, he's pinpointed as that interview that Sir Jim Ratcliffe did, where he said that, he was going to give Amorim 3 years, kind of no matter what, to turn it around, and allowed him to implement his style and implement his plan. And then since then, Manchester United have gone unbeaten for 5 games. So Amorim has been speaking, and he thinks that as soon as that happened, it basically changed the mood around the club, changed the way that he felt about it, and also he's never felt that. Well, one thing, he never felt his job was in trouble, but it has totally removed any sort of noise around it, because he knows he's got like a set period of time, basically. And, they are. We're just over a year into the Amorim reign. I think it would be fair to say the first 10 months were pretty shambolic. But yeah, in the last sort of, in that last international break, they did show signs that they were getting something together, certainly in terms of his style of play, the players he wants playing every game, the players they signed in the summer starting to gel, especially Brian Mbeumo starting to look really good. Matthias Cunha got his first goal. Obviously, Šeško's injured. But I can see why he thinks that was a turning point, because ultimately it did sort of give him the guess the idea of that, okay, you've got this set period of time to turn things around. And I don't know where they're going to finish this season. No one does. But certainly I think 1 game a week's helping them, rather than having to consistently play in Europe. Of course, the aim is for them to get back in Europe. Manchester United can't go, seasons and upon seasons without being in Europe. But I think at the moment that is helping them. It's allowing them to play sort of the same starting 11.
It does feel like after that interview, they did go on a bit of a run. All of a sudden, it did feel like him saying, "I'd give him 3 years. He got a project," and everything went a bit quiet, didn't it? And they just started playing football.
And they started playing well again. And, they picked up some great results, obviously going to Anfield and winning. I know Liverpool are struggling, of course, but I still think, Manchester United v Liverpool, we know how big that game is. To go there and win, it's a big result. They beat Brighton as well. They've done well. Let's see if they can keep it up after the international break. But at the moment, if you look at their fixtures, I don't think they play a big 6 team in the next 10 games. So they've got a chance to, build some momentum and maybe start to end the seat. Well, certainly get in a position where they're back in Europe and back up the table from 15th last year.
Listen, we're just over 24 hours. Well, on Friday, of course.
Yes.
You don't understand what I'm saying. The Ashes starts. Cannot wait for this. The back pages are full of it. I'm going to pick out just 2. Stokes says the back page of the Times, let's make history. And on the back page of the Daily Telegraph, this is your golden chance. Don't blow it. England, says Michael Vaughan.
Yeah, look, going to be 2:20 a.m. Friday morning. That'll be the first ball bowled of the Ashes. Let's hope it goes better than the first ball of the last one of the Australia one. Mitchell Starc bowled Rory Burns immediately and set off a terrible just tour for England. It was, of course, there was a COVID tour and etc. But look, Ben Stokes has specifically set out the fact that he wants to become one of the few England captains to win in Australia. England's record in Australia recently is absolutely dreadful. Haven't won a test there since the 2010-11 series, which they, of course, won under Andrew Strauss. Since then, they've lost every other test or got 2 draws. That's it from 15 tests. So 3 tours of Australia. It's been battering after battering after battering. It does feel like Bazball and the whole idea behind Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes is they've always been building up to this. Feels like this has been their thing. They want to go to Australia. They want to win. And everything they've done up until this moment is about this series. And
they've gone with all seamers, right? There's no spin.
So initially it looked like it was going to be that. Bashir has been included in the squad.
Right. Okay.
But he still could not play.
Right.
So they'll need to decide on that. It's going to be, or it could be Bryden Carse instead of him. So it could be 5 seamers or it could be Bashir. And we're going to have to see. This is a big chance for England in the first test because the Australia bowling lineup of Mitchell Starc, Hazelwood and Cummins has been one of the best bowling attacks in the world for a long, long time. 2 of those are not going to be playing in this first test. Cummins is out, Hazelwood is out, so they've only got Starc. They're going to have to make. There's going to be a debutant as well, and then probably Scott Boland will be the other seamer of that attack. So that's a big chance for England here to get off to a great start, get a win. And then you go into the pink ball test, which is obviously the day-night one. And that one's really interesting. Oh, lights fell over. Anyways, right, sound. No, a pink ball test. The pink ball test, which is day-night. And that it almost sort of depends who wins the toss. So whoever wins the toss usually, and whoever ends up batting when it is going sort of dusk to night is usually in trouble because of the way the ball moves around and the dew and stuff. So... England, if they get off to a good start, have got a really good chance of them making it 2-0 if they win the toss and get everything right. If they lose 1-0, Australia's record in the pink ball test is they've beaten England every single time. It could easily be 2-0 at that point as well. So, Look, yeah, it's going to be great, though. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, no, it's always great. Back page of the iSport. England will never have a night like it.
Yeah, we're talking about Scotland's celebrations. So, I'm going to immediately disagree with this because I think if England win the World Cup, I think England would have a night like it, wouldn't they? Probably a lot better, to be fair. Look, I get it. The Scotland celebrations were incredible to see. All the players this morning being interviewed about who they were clearly hungover. George Hurst.
Sorry, who said this? They never had not like that?
It's in the eye.
Who said it? Who's the quote from?
Who's the journalist?
Is it Kevin Garside?
Yeah, Kevin Garside. Yeah.
Sorry, what's the point of that? Is that England will struggle to get out of the group?
No, I don't know.
Is that the point?
I think he's on about the celebrations, isn't he?
The heroics, right?
Yeah, I know, but you get certain teams that, it's like getting promoted.
No, I think he's talking absolute garbage. I mean, England have had their moments already.
It's like, if you get promoted in the last-minute winner, it's a little bit like that, right? That you get promoted in the Championship playoff final.
Yeah.
You have a euphoric day at Wembley that some Premier League fans will never experience because of the euphoria.
Yeah.
Euphoria, sorry, of that.
Yeah, but he's saying that England, the national team, won't have a moment like... We've already had moments like that. I mean...
Well, the last-minute winner...
Jude Bellingham overhead kick to keep us in...
Yeah, to keep us in the Euros.
In the Euros was that moment.
That was
euphoric. What about Gaza?
Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, Ollie Watkins, semi-final against Holland. There's another moment for you right there.
Jay, good shout. Keep him coming, Jay.
Eric Dyer, penalty.
Kevin Gardside, you're talking garbage.
What about Gaza when he done it against Scotland in Euro 96?
Oh, here we go.
You know, we were talking about moments here. I mean, England have had plenty of their moments. So fair play to Scotland. You know, well done. They got to the World Cup.
You scraped there.
They scraped
against
through.
10 men.
Against a 10-man Denmark. All right? Come back to us when you score in the last minute of a semi-final.
Yeah, I mean...
it's just level Scotland.
Come on. There's
Get back
levels
in
to
your
this
box.
game, mate.
Yeah, of course there is.
Calm yourselves down. What about 5-1 against Germany? I mean, come on.
yeah, it's pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah. What about 66? Extra... No, let's not go there.
Come on, you know, there's moments in football all the time. There's always huge moments. England have had plenty of them.
By the way,
come out and say we wouldn't have a night like
Scotland did everything in their powers to balls it up, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
They did.
They only had that moment because they were terrible.
They did try.
The only reason it happened.
They got to score three worldies in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
We're messing around. But it was an incredible. You know, as football people as we all are, you can't help but go, wow. And it was a wow moment. It was a wow.
Yeah, I mean, the videos from the game of
I've seen loads in bars as well.
And stuff. Yeah. It was.
Have you seen that one of the guy? There's a guy he's a bald guy sat at the bar, and there's pan around, everyone's going crazy. And there's a guy sat there with his pint, a bald guy, and he just puts his head in his hand. He's got to be English. It's so funny. He sat there on his own. Everyone's going. It's almost like everyone's running around him, and he sat there, and he's just going, and he's stuck his head in his hand.
I've not seen it.
Unless he's Danish.
I mean, look, fair play to them. They had a moment. You know, well done. Got to the World Cup. It only took them, 28 years?
Let's see what happens when they get there.
Just on the other stories, talkSPORT.
Yeah, so Leicester City are facing a 6-point deduction. They breached PSR by about £20 million. So they could get it looked like it was going to be potentially up to £12 million. Well, 12 points deduction, but actually Stefan Borson was saying on talkSPORT it's going to be 6 points simply because that's what Nottingham Forest and Everton got for the same sort of breach. I mean, it means that whenever it'll happen this season. The points deduction. Leicester already not having a great year. I mean, I think they would have thought going down from the Premier League, they'd be in contention to get promoted again. You know, this could actually drag them into a relegation battle, which, you know, is not what Leicester need. They won the Premier League. This is their 10-year anniversary of winning the Premier League this season, by the way. You know, this is the year 10 years ago where they won the Premier League, and 10 years later, you know, they're struggling in the Championship, and, you know, with this 6 points deduction, could easily be dragged into a relegation battle, avoid being put in a League One. It wouldn't be the best way, would it be, to celebrate your 10-year anniversary of winning the Premier League, going down to League One? But I guess it shows you how brutal football is, and if you get things wrong off the pitch, financially, you know, decisions with transfers, everyone's going to catch up with you. They're going to take over you, and you're going to be the one who gets punished. And in the end, Leicester are in a really, really bad position at the moment. They signed no one in the summer, and because of the financial issues they've got, and now they're going to face a points deduction as well. So not great at all.
Okay. All right. JT, thank you, mate.
No worries, lads. I'll catch you later.
All right, those are your back pages. Right, we got the rest of talkSPORT coming up next. You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT with talkSPORT Bet. Download the new talkSPORT Bet app today. 18+. BeGambler.org.